This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Let me play the voices now of two liberals. You will see this story at theblaze.com. Massive media manipulation. Is Obama intentionally stretching out the UBL story to optimize political points, as suggested by David Schuster and what's her name? Is it Lisa Miller? Listen, here's the audio. Listen to this. You can see this at theblaze.com.
And the idea that, here's a guy who thinks things through, who's maybe sometimes cerebral to a fault, but who's not gonna sort of lead from the gut and just sort of make snap decisions. And so you can imagine, look, if it was John McCain that was sitting in the White House, how sort of irrational that might have been, and how things would be different. And so it's just, I think this is exactly the sort of leadership the American people want. I think it would behoove the White House, though, right now, and I'm looking at this now from pure political reasons. The White House is going to ground zero 9/11. Great political move. The president, deserves all the political accolades and bump that he can get out of this.
Stop. Does he? Or have we given him enough? If there's anybody that has worked tirelessly, it is the military, not the president of the United States. The president of the United States got the phone call. We found him. Who found him? Oh, the people who have been working at Guantanamo. The people who have been scooping up KSM. You found them. No, Mr. President, you didn't find them. George Bush didn't find them. The U.S. military and our operatives have found him. Then the president said, hey, so can you get him? Yes, we can. All right. Come up with a plan and make sure it doesn't go wrong. The president didn't say, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take 3 helicopters. He didn't do that.
And it's not his job.
It's not his job.
No.
The military. He's the CEO. Let me tell you something. I'd like to give responsibility to almost everybody else on this show. I'd like to give them credit so they have to hold the bag. Yeah, I'm not doing this. This crap, I'm not putting out by myself. These guys are helping me with this crap. There are actually people that they're paid to help put this crap together.
Yeah, you try to turn it around on us all the time.
That's exactly right. It takes people to do it. And the president is the greatest example of an executive. His job is to say, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. Who has a differing opinion here? Who can go find this? And then provide the leadership to make things happen. So he deserves the credit. He barely gave the credit to the military on the speech on Sunday night.
He does deserve some credit.
Well, of course he does, and I gave it to him.
And you did.
Yeah. He's the guy who gave the kill order. Let's be very clear on that. He's the guy who gave the kill order.
And if it went wrong, it was his ass. It
would have been political suicide for him. I got to tell you, and I've said this before, at least off the air, when that helicopter went down and they're sitting in that room, you saw the pictures yesterday, and they were sitting in that room, he had to have the image of Jimmy Carter flash across his mind. Oh, my gosh, a helicopter is now burning in the desert. We were trying to go pull this off. I mean, that's what happened with Jimmy Carter,
especially when it was by all accounts, it was the president's call to not bomb, bomb the the compound, which would of course not have put the soldiers' lives at risk.
Correct.
But he did it anyway.
So,
and the other thing I was going to say quickly is that the Daily Mail is reporting that it took him 16 hours to approve the mission. He slept on it overnight and came back to approve the mission. If it had gone wrong and they wouldn't have gotten him. Who knows? He would have had all sorts of blame. It was a risky maneuver.
He would have fallen 10 points if it had gone wrong. Mm-hmm. He rose 10 points because it went right. He got the credit from the American people. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Now, victory laps on the death of somebody seem obscene. Giving credit where credit is due and moving the spotlight. This is the most powerful man in the world. No, I'm sorry. Second most powerful man, George Soros is. Second most powerful man in the world. No, third, because we have Ben Bernanke. Third most powerful man in the world. And he wants to take victory laps. It's obscene, and it is obscene. Can you imagine taking victory laps in Arlington Cemetery? Yeah! Who did it? Who did it? Yeah, me, I did it. Yeah.
My guess is that's
he's
not the
gonna
tone.
Do that.
Yeah.
But it is becoming the tone. Don't you think it's really becoming the tone?
That's at least what I think it was Schuster or whoever was talking there was saying. He should do that. Now, obviously he would say we're going down there for solemn remembrance after a big moment in this war, blah, blah, blah. But there are people, just like the ones you're hearing on the show, who are strategizing in that way to take advantage of a crisis.
Exactly right.
You know that's happening.
Exactly right. And that's what's happening. There is a crisis. You never let a crisis go to waste. And that's what he's doing. He's taking advantage of a crisis, and he's going to milk it for every... This was the point of yesterday's show, that when we were talking about the photos. The guy has had since August. They knew they were going to take photos. You haven't made that decision. Why are you having this great debate? I don't know if we should release them or not. You've already made the decision. As Schuster just said, he doesn't make snap decisions on things. He's cerebral. He's the smartest man in the world. If they ever stop the motorcade too fast, I think he's going to hit the dashboard and say, oh, my giant blue head. I mean, he's Megamind, remember. He's Megamind. So he hasn't thought this one through yet? Of course he has. They haven't thought through the pictures, but man, they can get right up here to ground zero and coordinate that. Lickety-split. Wow. That's pretty impressive. But Schuster goes on.
Get out of this. And I think the way you do that, you keep feeding the story, and, whether it's today you release the video, you release the video tomorrow, right, and you string this out, and you basically say to the Republicans, okay, you want to say that I'm weak on national security, I'm weak on foreign policy, well, take this. Here's the bullet-ridden corpse, and here's the body being dumped into the sea, and here's the communications between the CIA and our brave Navy SEALs who are carrying out this operation.
This is not your theory. I mean, this is what they're discussing. They're discussing how to make this into... Obviously, the guy didn't go kill Osama Bin Laden because he wanted to make it into a giant political thing. I mean, maybe it was part of it, I'm sure.
I think he wanted to destabilize the Middle East.
Well, yeah, of course. Of course that's what it is. No, but I mean, you want Osama Bin Laden dead. We all wanted Osama Bin Laden dead. I'm glad he's dead. These are people on the sidelines, and I'm sure in his ear, in the administration, saying to him, hey, now that this has happened... How do we make this work out best politically? And, of course, I guess that's some people's jobs, but, man, when you're talking about a bullet-ridden corpse and with that sort of tone, it's just...
You're beyond talking about a bullet-ridden corpse. You're now, and this is where it becomes grotesque, you are now, for political reasons, using the deaths of 3... Remember, you couldn't even use the picture from Air Force One for George W. Bush. You couldn't show the picture of him on September 11th in Air Force One. But the president not only can show all the pictures of this, which I don't have a problem with. Where I draw the line is now we're going to ground zero, to the hallowed ground, to the civilian Arlington Cemetery, and saying, yeah, I got it done. That's grotesque. It's grotesque for any president. Grotesque.
Now, he did invite Bush.
And George Bush has enough common sense to say no. George Bush also has the Bushes. The one thing you can like or hate the Bushes. But the one thing you can't say is that they're political knifers when they get out of office.
No.
They do not knife fight. They never said anything about Bill Clinton. They're not saying anything about Barack Obama. They don't knife presidents. Others do. They do not. When he said, you know what, I want to stay out of the spotlight on this. You don't think George W. Bush, believe me, George W. Bush is a man just like anyone else. And a man wants to feel he's questioned. I know he has, because you have, I have, everybody has in your own life, major decisions that the jury is still out on. You want to know, and you want somebody to say, good job. It made a difference. You made a difference. This guy gave 8 years of his life. Agree or disagree. And Obama is exactly the same way, and so is Bill Clinton. You spent 8 years of your life, and you made tough decisions that you stayed up all night, and you did your best. And if it doesn't work out, well, it doesn't work out. You want somebody to say, good job. Good job. And George Bush doesn't get it from the media. This guy gets good job on who took a poopy in the potty. He gets a good job on everything.
Well, it is pretty impressive to go poopy inside the potty.
Inside the potty.
You know, it's hard.
Yes.
It's,
Mr. President, you go poopy in the potty. Good for you. New York Times.
Most of the area of the White House is not a potty. So
Right.
when you're finding the potty, it's really like a needle in a haystack.
Right. So as a man, he would want to be in front of a roaring crowd that said, yeah, you got the job done. It was your setup and his final roll of the ball. Good job. So don't tell me he doesn't want to be in the spotlight.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I mean,
He sure
it's
does.
even think of the specifics here. The enhanced interrogation was a huge part of the piece of the puzzle here, and which he was completely bashed all the time by the media. And the other part that no one's talking about is the fact that the person that they're calling the linchpin in this entire series of events was captured in Iraq. This war that had nothing to do with 9/11. There's no terrorists there. There's no Al-Qaeda members there.
In Iraq.
In Iraq, this guy was captured. That's how they found this guy that led to the death of Bin Laden. I mean, how much does this guy want to stand up and puff up his chest a little bit and say, I told you. I told
Right.
you they were
But he
going there.
hasn't.
But he hasn't.
He hasn't done it. And good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having some honor. Now, it is grotesque that the President of the United States is going to dishonor, go and honor on September 11th, the 10th anniversary. Remember, this is the same president that just said, hey, so they want to build a mosque and name it after the mosque they built on top of a church in Cordoba, Spain, that telegraphed the end of an empire. Yeah, go ahead and build it. And you're a racist if you think otherwise. That guy now says, yeah, who's on your side, huh? Who can kill the bad guy with a beard? Who can do it? I can. And he's dancing, and he'll do it oh so delicately. But he's dancing at Ground Zero. Go make the speech anywhere else. Go do it in Central Park. He could have 500,000 people in Central Park. Go do it there and do really solemn, and I will support you. This is a hallowed space. To take a victory lap around Ground Zero is obscene. And your own people, Schuster, your own people are saying, look, he's just dragging this thing out to maximize this for political points. Please. You'll notice that you don't have pictures of President Bush meeting with the 9/11 victims. Not on those personal meetings.
There's some pictures of him meeting with families, isn't there? I feel like I've seen them. I could be wrong on that.
I don't think so. There wasn't a big public thing. Remember, right after 9/11, he went in and he was in those tents for a long time, and he was with. It wasn't a big publicized thing. He comforted people. He comforted them.
And what's the nice side of this? I mean, the bottom line is, it's very possible that he has advisors in there telling him, look, these families really want to meet with you. You've finally given them closure. You need to
then meet with them. Then meet with them again.
Just not
I
there.
have no problem, but please don't make a spectacle and call it a remembrance at Ground Zero. Have a remembrance. Do it at the National Cathedral. Do it at St. Patrick's. Do it anywhere. Do it at Battery Park, but not at Ground Zero. Please. We're politicizing Ground Zero? Really?
Because this is really a random date unless,
It's a victory lap.
Because, he wasn't at the 8th or 9th anniversary there. He didn't go there for that, and that's fine. He doesn't have to go there for that. He's not required. But the 10th anniversary would have been a very appropriate thing, and he would have had those accolades, and it would have been a little bit more natural, perhaps.
Yeah, the 10th anniversary is just in September. But if you want to have it, I understand. Maximizing, your accomplishments and everything else. If you don't ring your bell, nobody else will. Fine. Do it at Battery Park by the big globe that was smashed by the World Trade Centers come down. You know that piece of art that was in between the two World Trade Centers, this giant, it looks like a globe, and it was completely smashed by the World Trade Centers. And they found it and they moved it to Battery Park, and it's stunning. It's stunning. Do it there. Please, Mr. President. Not over the bodies of 3,000 people. Please. Not politics. Please.